Hey, hello, my friends. It's Chat with Matt. It's the 1st of May here in New Zealand, May Day. 1st of May here in New Zealand. It's 2019. It's Chat with Matt. We're on the Mantara Transformation. No, we're not. We're in the Mantara. Oh my God. Settle down. We're in the Mantara public page, I hope. So, welcome, my friends. It's Chat with Matt. That's 30 minutes to ask me whatever you wish. Hey, Sister Robin, well done. Happily married woman this week. Well done. Oh, hopefully happily. You were certainly happy when I saw you Sunday morning. Yeah, so welcome. So anything's up for grabs as far as I can tell, and I haven't looked very well. I'm just about to look right now. There we go. This notification has not got any comments on it. I'm pretty much free-forming because no one's written in anything that I can see. Let me just check here. As far as I can tell, I am open. So hit me up if you are coming on live at any stage. I know if you're not on live yet, you can't hear what I've said. But I'm open. So I'm really excited. I've got may as well talk some promotion first up, which is not my favorite thing to do, but it seems that that's the opening. So let me go for it. You can't stop me anyway. I've got a free call, Q&A call coming up in 3 hours time from now. I'm just reading Robin's comment, which says, "Hey Matt, thanks for you and Marie being there on the weekend and bringing such a beautiful energy to our celebrations." You are very welcome, Robin. Robin got married on the weekend, if you guys were wondering what that's about. So here we go. I've got a free call coming up in 3 hours. It's going to be a Q&A call. It's specifically on the topic of sleep, which is not just about insomnia, by the way. Sleep is a big topic. So many of us do not get the quality of sleep that would really serve us. Many of us don't get the quantity of sleep that would really serve us either. But rather than getting caught up in the shoulds, as I was talking on the free call that we did, I'm doing a lot of free calls, right? Free call that we did on Sunday, Monday. It's, sleep is not 7.5, right? It's not a number. Good sleep is not 8 or 9 or 7.5 or even 5.5. It's individual to everyone, and it's, quality over quantity, really. Yes, we all require a quantity of sleep, and I have found for myself that is not static at all. It's very, very dynamic. Some days I definitely am served with more sleep, upwards of 9 hours, even more sometimes. And other times, like at the moment, I seem to be doing very, very nicely on 6.5. I don't know when that's going to change, and it doesn't really matter. It's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just what is. That's the point. And it's no point getting too contracted around, what you've been told. People, there's a lot of information out there. Scientists are doing a lot of work now on sleep and what it means, and its correlation with stress and its correlation with health in general, brain health, mental health. There's no doubt that sleep is a very, very important part of our life. That's why we spend approximately a third of our life asleep, right? Approximately a third of our life we spend asleep. It is a big part of our life. And if we're not willing to look at it, we're definitely not going to get the most of our life. Hey, Meg, how are you? So this package that I have put together, Mantara and I have put together over the last, it's over 6 months, I'm sure. I've been too scared to keep track of it, but I have put an exorbitant amount, if that's the right word, of time into this, because I'm passionate about helping people in whatever way that is, and it became very obvious that sleep was a big topic for many, many people. So I've got an itchy nose now, so I don't know what that means. I always seem to get an itchy nose on Facebook Live, probably because I'm doing something that I instinctively or inherently or traditionally, historically have not liked doing, which is being visible in front of a lot of people. That's it, right? How do we move forward if we're not willing to step into it? So the sleep pack, and this is, uncomfortable because basically what I'm doing right now is trying to entice you or encourage you or at least invite you into contemplating whether you could make a purchase off us, right, which is this sleep package, which is on my web store right now. And so that's something that Matt hasn't done very well at all in his last, 3.5 years of being a facilitator, is selling my goods and wares, goods and services. But there it is. It's there available to you. All I can say is there is an incredible amount of intentional energy in that package. So if you recognize that your sleep could be improved, then I would highly encourage you to at least get out of your mind and feel into whether this package would serve you, benefit you, take you forward in your relationship with sleep, and allow you to have a more empowered relationship with sleep, so that your whole life can improve, right? Because, as I said, you spend a third of your life doing it. If you can improve that aspect, make it more efficient, more effective, more beneficial for you, then you can rest assured that the rest of your life will also improve as you look after that. And I'm going to talk more about this, and I'm going to open it up for questions on the call, and we will do some light language and all of that. And I'll go through the individual pieces on there so that you can get a better idea. So if you're interested in that and you don't know what I'm talking about, scroll down or scroll up, one of the two directions. Probably scroll down if you're watching the live stream on the Montara page, which you must be doing, and you should see a post advertising the call-in details for that Q&A call, which will be starting at 12 p.m. midday my time here in New Zealand, which is in just under 3 hours. Hello, Mary Sykes. How are you? So if anyone who is watching, or any of the 4 or 5 of you who are watching right now, please feel free to ask me something. It doesn't have to be about sleep. It can be about anything. Here to serve you all. In the Montara Transformation Empowerment Support community, my very dear community, hi Mary, Sister Meg, who I believe might still be on here with us right now, has chosen to facilitate a 30-day challenge. So it's very exciting. It's starting today. I've been toing and froing as to what I am going to commit myself to, devote myself to achieving a new habit for the next 30 days. Originally, I was talking about doing a live stream every day for 30 days and keeping it short, like definitely under 5 minutes, even perhaps under 3 minutes. Shorter is harder for me because I don't want to come on and say hello. I want to come on and deliver some content and help people grow and shift and inspire people. And I still might do that, but I feel what would be more beneficial for me, something that I have more and more trouble with actually, is committing to doing my journaling, right? Committing to doing my journaling every day and committing to doing it in the morning straight after my meditations. I've successfully since New Year's Eve, basically, or since just before New Year's, I can't remember when exactly I started, but this year I've been meditating every day, pretty much for 60 minutes every day. There's been a few days where I've had to cut it short because of stuff, but basically and it's an old habit. It's a habit that I've had for years and years. It just needed to be reestablished, and I'm finding that invaluable. And that, I remember I produced an MP3 to help people, and I use it every day, right? It's there on my little MP3 player. I've got a little old school MP3 player that basically all I use is for my meditation practice. I just put my headphones on and to help cut out background noise, because I'm not as disciplined to get up before everyone else. Lucas leaves for work at 6:30 in the morning, and I'm certainly not getting up at 5:30. It's too freaking cold. I had to do my meditation so early, so I get up pretty much at 6, so he's getting up and banging around in the kitchen, and then Marie's getting up, just before 7 as well, right when in the juicy part of the meditation is the last time you really need to have too much external sound influencing you, startling you, shaking you out of your space. So I find that it works really well to have an ambient sound take care of that. And this ambient sound that I made, right, the meditation aid, I can't even remember what I've called it now, but it's there on my store somewhere. Matthew, the salesman in me, right, is just cringing. But it's got layers of light language and layers of me chanting Om beneath some ambient sound of waves gently lapping against the shore, which is quite rhythmic and hypnotic in itself. So that's what I use. Ideally, it'd be lovely to meditate in silence. I do enjoy that as well, but it requires not so much human impact on the soundscape, if you know what I mean. So listening to birds and nature waking up is fantastic, but listening to people banging drawers and making breakfast is not, in my opinion anyway. Okay, Mary wrote in something. Hey, Sister Melita, how are you doing? Sister from California. Most of the time when I go into meditation, I notice my solar plexus contracts. Help. Okay, so the first thing to understand is it actually contracting? What is the sensations you're having, and is it a bad thing? Right, because we perceive things through our filters, and quite often you'll feel a different sensation in your solar plexus when you go into meditation that's different to your normal waking life, your normal everyday life. But is it a bad thing, right? I know you're labeling it as a contraction, but is it actually an intensification? Is it actually an awakening? I understand it's probably not feeling expansive and joyful there, but is the feeling that you're feeling actually you moving through what needs to be moved through? Is it a feeling that your solar plexus is coming alive underneath a bunch of stuff that's on top of it, and that is creating what you can call contraction, but which is really just pressure? You're feeling a pressure in your solar plexus. I don't know. I don't want to, I don't pretend to be a soothsayer. What's the right word? I don't classify myself as clairvoyant or whatever. I don't answer questions for people, put it that way. I ask questions for people rather than answer them, and perhaps give people a different way of looking at things. So the point is, Sister Mary, is one, is it really a bad thing? And I'm not saying that it's not, because perhaps it is. But enjoy the baseball game, Sister Meg. It feels tight. Perfect. It feels tight. So feeling tight is a great awareness. Yes, please, Robin. I'll read it in a second. I'll just keep talking about Mary's tightness in her solar plexus, and please keep writing in as I go, Mary. So there's a tightness in your solar plexus when you allow yourself to meditate, when you allow yourself to bring your attention gently to your breath, and no doubt you're holding an intention to become more aligned with yourself. So that tightness that you're feeling, I would say, Mary, is an awakening tightness, is a waking up feeling, and it's not a wrongness at all. It's just part of the process that we all have to go through. I've gone through all sorts of uncomfortable experiences in various parts of my body, whether it's my heart, my solar plexus, my shoulders, just here at the back of the neck, C7, which is a important space for those of us who channel, right? Because a lot of energy flows in through there to avoid overloading our crown. So the point is not to make it wrong and not to feel that you actually need help. All you really need is a little bit of support, a little bit of support and encouragement to keep moving, to keep going, to keep showing up to your meditation, to keep allowing yourself to feel tight in your solar plexus, and keep breathing into it with a sense of faith. I'll use that word. I was going to use the word confidence, but the tightness in the solar plexus is basically a lack of confidence. So breathe into that lack of confidence with a sense of faith that you are moving through it, right? And the more that you allow yourself to feel that discomfort, that tightness, that contraction in your solar plexus, with the knowledge that as you keep breathing and as you stay silent and as you stay aware and peaceful and intentional in what you're doing, that you're going to overcome it. And feeling it is not a bad thing. Feeling it is actually the first step to acknowledging it, which moves into allowing it, which allows it then to release. So, so the point is, and I'm glad that you recognize that you've got you feel the other sorts of sensations that are quite common as well for those of us who are doing a meditation practice, because understand that meditation practice is not about a destination. It's not about falling into a beautiful, expansive, meditative space where you feel at one with the universe. That's great when it happens from time to time, which for most of us is reasonably what's the word? It doesn't happen very often. It doesn't happen very often for most of us. The real benefit of doing your meditation practice is to drive you through the process of transformation, is to keep increasing your awareness and to keep increasing your sense of dedication, because it's a practice that you show up and you do, right? And that requires a dedication, and it's a practice that you're doing with the intention of improving yourself, which shows to, I'll use the term universe, that you are serious about your transformation. You are serious about improving yourself because you show up every day and you freaking do it. You invest an amount of time in doing your practice. God, Matt, I have the same pains as you do. Oh yeah, right. I'd already read that. I just missed the God, Matt bit. I'm quite happy to have God in front of my name. God, Matt. Was that a title, or was there a comma after God? An exclamation, perhaps. No, it's okay. I'm allowed to be funny, or at least amuse myself. And I'm happy to assume the title God, Matt. I have quite often in the past proclaimed myself to be God in front of people as a shock value, and to remind them that they are also God. So when you show up for your meditation, all of us are going to have experiences that don't feel what we quote unquote want or what we should have, right? This expectation that if I'm doing meditation correctly, my mind is going to stop thinking and I'm going to feel blissful and expansive. Great fairy tale. It doesn't happen very often, right? So be willing to show up for your meditation and allow your meditation just to serve you, because that's all it really is there to do. It's there to allow you to see your shit, and it's allow you to find acceptance of that shit. Sorry for using an expletive, but it's a very descriptive word for the density that we all carry. It stinks, right? So allow yourself to go through a meditative practice that is not comfortable. Mentally, emotionally, and physically, it's okay that it's uncomfortable. You don't have to torture yourself by putting yourself into a posture that hurts, right? It's not about sitting bolt upright with your legs in lotus and dislocating your knees. That's not beneficial. I'm not talking about dealing with that sort of discomfort, but when I do my meditation practices, I have discomforts in my body, not just in energetic centers, but sometimes just my elbow aches or my wrist aches, something that there's no pressure on at all, or jaw or anything. Because basically what's happening as you meditate is you're giving yourself permission to unwind. You're giving yourself permission to release and relax. And as that happens, various tensions and points in your body go through this process, and it quote unquote hurts. It's definitely okay to be a stinky girl. Mary, if the more that you can find the okayness in exactly as you are, the faster you're going to progress into happiness, right? It's as simple as that. And once you get into happiness, then you can really start living a purposeful life. Then you can really start helping others. Then you can really start influencing this whole creation, right? Our societies. Once you find your happiness, once you really accept yourself, because up until that moment, you're just basically a burden on all of us. I'm a burden on all of us when I'm not in acceptance of myself. I'm lowering the vibration of the collective when I'm not accepting myself. When I'm hating on myself, I'm bringing the tone of the whole universe down. And that's not that I flagellate myself for not being able to lift myself out of it. It's just to remind myself that being down on yourself is one of the least beneficial things you can do for everyone, right? This whole idea of criticizing ourselves, berating ourselves, pointing out our faults doesn't serve ourselves or anyone in any way. It is a really, really, I'm going to use this word, evil thing to do. It's an evil thing to do. That is the definition of evil, is to think poorly of ourselves, right? It's not about our actions. It's really about our self-talk. And I don't want to put people into contraction around evil, but I'm just using that word as for the shock value. But truly, it's not a great thing to be doing. And it's no point beating yourself up for being beat up, right? It's no point now judging yourself based on how much negative self-talk you have done to yourself in the past or how much you're going to do to yourself today, because it's become very habitual. But the point is, stop it, right? Choose to invest time and effort and energy in improving your self-dialogue, in improving your acceptance of yourself. Be willing to become aware of when you are beating yourself up, when you are feeling down about yourself, when you are feeling hopeless, useless, and worthless. And it's not to make those feelings wrong, because they're coming up to be cleared. What you are choosing to do is not engage with it, not to make it right, not to allow the feelings that are arising from within you or the thought patterns that are projecting onto your conscious mind space, not to allow them to become correct, not to allow them to become the reality. Reminding yourself consistently that what's arising from within is what's releasing. Perfect, Robin. I'm about to scroll back to your question right now. Thank you for sharing the wisdom about how when we are negative, we bring the collective down. Love the reminder to choose time, effort, and energy towards self-acceptance. Exactly. And it's an in-the-moment thing that we can also allocate time to doing, right? That's what meditation practice is about. It's about sitting quietly with the contents of our mind mainly, and also the contents of our emotional self, and choosing to accept it, right? When we shut off the stimuli coming in, when we shut off the distractions of the external world, we get to see our own stuff. And it's not comfortable for most of us most of the time, but that's where the practice of meditation comes in. We sit in our stuff and we choose to stay there. We choose not to turn away from it. We choose not to try and distract ourselves from it. We choose not to try and even justify it or argue with it. We just see it and accept it, and therefore allow it to release. Okay, so here's Robin's question from a little moment ago. I do have a question, if there's time, and I've just made time. How to best manage intergenerational trauma? Big events like a wedding seem to bring a lot of stuff to the fore, and expectations around weddings differ and perhaps aren't communicated beforehand, then things play out. I guess I'm asking the best way to move forward in a loving, understanding way. Okay, so excellent question, Robin, and it's very, very, very true. Big family events tend to, just like Christmas every year or other things that have become quote unquote tradition, weddings, deaths, births, all play into this kettle of fish, that it brings up intergenerational trauma or habits or belief systems, right, that have been passed on subconsciously mainly, but also consciously down through the lines. Stirring it up is a great thing to do in terms of allowing ourselves all to become free of it, because the big part of your question here is how to move forward in a loving and understanding way. It's to choose to be loving and understanding and keep moving forward. Right? That's how to do it. It's to maintain an intention that you are aware that this is an intergenerational trauma or belief system that's playing out, and that you understand that's why people are acting the way that they're acting. And you also choose not to let that affect you more than it has to, right? So that you feel it, and of course it influences you, and of course it triggers vibrations, emotions from within you, and thought patterns of, oh, perhaps I shouldn't have, perhaps I should have. But then you get to choose, after you've been triggered, you get to choose how much you allow that experience of what's arising from within you to influence how you act and how you think about yourself moving forward from there. So when you feel it all come up, the best way to move forward is to take a nice big breath, or several of those, to relax and to remind yourself that all of this energy arising is old stuff and it's not your fault, but that doesn't mean it's not your responsibility to move through it in this moment, right? It's not your fault. You didn't create this, but it's now in your lap. So you have the ability in the moment right now to relax into acceptance and to choose to move forward with what you feel in your heart is the best action to take. Trust yourself, right? There's no formula here for what you should say to them, what you should do, whether you should ignore them, whether you should confront them. There's no formula for that. Sometimes it is necessary to confront them with a reasonable amount of energy. I won't use the word anger, but with a reasonable amount of energy, and say, listen, this is none of your business or whatever, right? And at the same time, caveating that with an understanding and a compassion with how you do that. You're not there to make them wrong. You're here to allow yourself to be comfortable, right? You're here to allow them to realize that their carry on is their bullshit and they're affecting you in a negative way that's not serving anyone, right? Sometimes that needs to be pointed out. And then at other times, it's not appropriate to do that because they are not mature enough to cope with that. And it's only going to create more disharmony in the future. So only you can tell that, and it changes its dynamic. It's in the moment, right? You might get very, very fixed that, I need to confront them. And then you go to confront them and you feel into the energy and you go, actually, this is not gonna serve. And at the same time, sometimes you go into have that conversation with people and emotionally you want to pull out because you don't want to quote unquote upset them or risk being seen as a bad person, but really it would serve you to do it. So we have to bring a deeper sense of awareness and a deeper sense of, just looking at the time, deeper sense of understanding and commitment to what we know would serve, because it's very easy for us to emotionally talk ourselves out of it in either direction. Sometimes emotionally we want to do the confrontation thing and we want to release our anger about how their behavior is making it hard for us to relax into comfort. And sometimes and it's not really going to serve us to do that. Really, all we need to do is breathe and be compassionate and allow their energy just to wash through the field. Because if it has nothing to push up against, quite often you can help it release because they are basically looking for a reaction from you to justify the energy that they're carrying, right? Because they need justification that this pain that they're carrying is true, right? And if you don't react, then you are basically not justifying that energy. If you allow it to just dissipate and wash away from them, then they have trouble justifying it and holding it and using it again in the future. Subconsciously as well as consciously, right? A lot of this stuff is playing out subconsciously, but energy's energy and it follows rules. And if it has nothing to bounce off, then it just keeps going, right? So that can definitely be beneficial, but at other times, on an intellectual level, on an egoic level, things need to be said. And it's important that we are willing to say those things in as compassionate and beneficial way as possible. And that requires us to be clear and relaxed and centered in our confidence as best we can, right? As best we can. All of those things, clear, relaxed, centered in confidence, are all a range of things. And they're not switches, right? It's not either on or off. It's not, oh, I'm confident. No, I'm not. It's how confident am I? How clear am I? How relaxed am I? It's a scale. It's a range. It's a slider. So the more we can choose to align with our center and our clarity and our peace and our calm and our confidence, the more eloquently and effectively we're going to be able to communicate our truth without getting emotionally embroiled in a situation that generally spirals. Perfect. I'm glad you like that idea of allowing the energy to flow through. What else did I miss? That's all. Hey, Sister Gemma's here with us as well. So, choice. So, that's at the end of the day, whether you choose to respond or whether you choose to allow things to flow through, conscious choice is the name of the game, Sister Robin, conscious choice. And it's hard because we're always, I'm the same. There's always arguments in our heads about whether we should, whether we shouldn't. At the end of the day, you've got a massive heart. Just allow that heart to rule out over your mind with all of the to's and the fro's and the whatnots. Oh, look, it's the bells of serenity or whatever it's called. It's time to breathe and it's a good time to take some breath. So let's do it, my friends. So taking another one of those nice deep breaths. As you choose to breathe in, you're choosing to align with who you are. Keeping it very simple. You don't need to intellectualize that, hold your breath for a moment or two, just really allowing who you are to be felt inside of yourself. And as you breathe out, you're just allowing yourself to let go of anything that's not you, that is up, anything that's been triggered, anything that's pertinent for right now, playing around on the top of your field, in your mind, in your emotions, that's not really benefiting you. It's ready to go. It's just a matter of choosing intentionally to invest some time in letting this stuff go. Not trying, not hoping, not wanting. Relaxing and trusting that as you breathe out, stuff is falling out of your field. It really is and can be that simple. Can be and is probably a better way of putting that. So my friends, that's pretty much Chat with Matt. Half an hour of my insights for right now, spurred on by your questions. Thank you very much, Robin and Mary, for provoking some dialogue. I look forward to serving you all in 2.5 hours if you have the chance. If you don't, then you can listen to the replay, but 12 o'clock New Zealand time will be 7 p.m. Central, so 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Sorry, the UK and Europe, it's late. I think 1 a.m. UK, 2 a.m. in France and that part of Europe. Anywho, my friends, much, much love. Sorry, what are you writing, Mary? It's harder to do our spiritual work before we take care of our psychology. And the two happen together, to be honest, Mary. It's not that you need to sort out your psychology before you do your spiritual work. It's the recognition that both happen together. And I feel I'm a great believer in non-linearity. So not thinking that things have to happen in a specific order because we're all different, but recognizing that as you do your spiritual work, you are definitely going to need to take care of your psychology as well. And if you think you can just fix your psychology without looking at your spiritual connection to the all, you're probably going to come up short as well. They both work hand in hand. So you are both very welcome, Mary and Robin, and everyone else who's been here holding space with us, and anyone who's watching in the future. I'll see you next week if I don't speak to you beforehand. I'll put in one more quick plug. If you need some help with sleep, or you feel that you could improve your relationship with empowered sleep, then please be willing to check it out on my web store, mantara.nz/store/sleep, and you will get to a page with a whole heap of MP3s about sleep, and you can buy the whole package of them, which comes with a few other benefits and bonuses. I've just chosen in my meditation this morning, which I'm working on right now, adding another bonus to that, which is the Infinite Support Sessions, which is a series of 12 9-minute light language processes about a whole range of supportive aspects that can be played on repeat. So they can very easily loop, whether you're looping a series of them or you're looping one of the individual ones. I've came to the realization that I use that package or that series more than anything else pretty much consistently since 2016 when we created it. So I thought it would serve us to add it into the sleep package. So there it is. It's a time-sensitive bonus. It's only available up until this weekend or the end of this weekend, or basically I've put it on until we do the live call that will be this weekend as part of the sleep package. Because I'm encouraging as many people as possible to have purchased before then and to be live with that call and have their energy included, because that's going to help me and it's going to help the whole package in general as I go on. And the package won't close then, of course. I'm intending for this to be sort of evergreen into the future and something that I can be selling and helping people with in years to come. Anywho, my friends, much, much love to you all. Namaste. Bye for now. I will speak to you all somewhere, sometime in the future. Much love. Bye.